I wanted to have like a Mr. Rogers like moment. Put a chair down and... Oh, shoot! I'm sorry, I was trying to catch a break between seasons, and obviously we're not between seasons anymore. We've entered the winter sports season here on The Buzz, which means we're not going to be talking about football anymore. We're going to be focusing mainly on basketball. And there was a great matchup actually here in Norfolk the other night, a pair of #1 teams in the state. In Class C2, Lutheran High Northeast, and Class C1, Norfolk Catholic. They came into the season #1 anyway. One of them is going to remain #1, and that's Lutheran High. The Eagles are now 5-0 on the year. They defeated Norfolk Catholic 54-46. The thing about Lutheran High, this team, it was a Class C2 runner-up last year. They have a lot of talent, they have a lot of skill, and they've got a lot of experience. They're a pretty composed team down the stretch, which showed in the win over Norfolk Catholic, and they have a lot of balance. They had 6 players who scored at least 5 points in the win, and on any night, one of those 6 players can step up and be the leading scorer for the Eagles. Norfolk Catholic, on the other hand, they're 3-2. They lost to Wahoo Newman earlier in the week, but there's no reason for Norfolk Catholic to panic. They still have plenty of talent on the floor, and you got to imagine that when Connor Ketter's ankle is at full strength, he did kind of tweak it a little bit from what I saw Tuesday night. That's going to add another weapon. When they can get people to contribute around Dylan Bohr, around Ketter, and around Riley Kanake, Norfolk Catholic is going to be just as dangerous as we all thought they would be coming into the season.
No doubt about it. Norfolk Catholics, you can tell they play football 1 week longer than we did, and that does make a difference, especially I think from an offensive execution standpoint.
And quite frankly, don't tell anyone I said this because I'll get fired. Don't pay any attention to ratings of any sort before January because they mean absolutely nothing. We don't know what we're talking about. Nobody knows what that is. It's basketball. It takes a while to really get a feel for how good teams are. Unless, say, you're an O'Neill St. Mary's and you return a ton of talent from your D1 state championship team, and inside that ton of talent is a giant heap of talent and 6'8" junior Adam Moon. Moon's already gone over 30 points twice on the year, as the Cardinals are off to a 4-0 start, but there's going to be company for them, not just in their conference, not just in their area. In Class D1 itself, Howells Dodge has a very talented team. They're also off to a 6-0 start. Matthew Gooch is one of those players. He can shoot, he can rebound, he can dish it out, he can play defense, he blocks shots. He does it all, and he's got a lot of talent around him as well. Humphrey St. Francis in Class D2, they're off to a 3-0 start. And I got to tell you, when Eric Kessler is your coach, which he's been at St. Francis for quite a while, you can pretty much count on winning. He has a tradition of building winning programs. He's done it with the football program, he's done it with a basketball program, and if we called Eric Kessler Bob the Builder, then we would call Bob the Builder Eric Kessler. Sure. In the Lewis and Clark Conference, there's 3 teams off to a pretty quick start. Wausau, Wynot, Bancroft, Rosalie, they all remain unbeaten, and 2 of them are actually going to face each other on Friday, which gives us a chance to get a little better feel for the season as we move along. Wynot travels to Wausau. They're considered at this point to be among Class D2's best teams, and quite frankly, if you look around the area, there's a lot of teams right now that look like they have the potential to be a threat come the postseason, but we're a long way from that. We're also a long way from our next edition of The Buzz, and that's because we're going to try and get a feel for everything before we come back in January. And Eddie Evans needs to come back. Eddie Evans needs to be on the spot. Eddie Evans needs to join us. Eddie Evans needs to be a part of The Buzz. Eddie Evans is hard to say over and over the same way. It's kind of like on the movie The Office. Corporate accounts payable, Nina speaking, just a moment. Office Space. I was thinking of the TV show The Office. Man, I miss Steve Carell. Anyway, we'll be back in January with the next edition of The Buzz. Until then, make sure you pick up your papers and check out NorfolkDailyNews.com. Thanks for joining me.